Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Public health authorities are responding to a case of meningococcal disease on Tasmania's northwest coast. A 22-year-old man has been diagnosed with the B strain of the serious condition. Our reporter Michelle Wisby joins us now. Good evening, Michelle. What do we know about this case so far?
Joe, a short time ago, the man was in a stable condition after being diagnosed with the B strain of the serious and potentially fatal disease. Health authorities this afternoon confirmed the 22-year-old from rural Tasmania was taken to the Northwest Regional Hospital last week. The Public Health Department says he's now recovering and his close contacts have been given precautionary antibiotics to stop the disease from spreading. He is the 6th person this year diagnosed with meningococcal and the 4th case of the B strain. The state government already offers a free vaccination program for Tasmanians under 21, but only for the A, C, W and Y strains. All year, advocates have been arguing for this B strain to be included in that. But Joe, for now, experts are warning anyone with symptoms of the disease, including fever, muscle aches or a rash, to seek medical treatment immediately.
A 19-year-old Tasmanian man who falsely reported a robbery and stole from his grandmother's business continues to feel shame, a court has heard. Alexander Abbey and Harry Corner have both pleaded guilty to stealing from a Derwent Park TAB earlier this year.
Ashamed and misguided. Words used to describe two friends who stole thousands of dollars from a Derwent Park TAB. Police were called to the bookies on April 15 after reports of a robbery, but that report later turned out to be bogus. Alexander James Abbey was soon charged with falsely reporting a crime and stealing. The business belonged to his grandmother, who was occupied at the time with tending to his dying grandfather. Today, the court heard Abbey had been placing large bets and panicked in the lead-up to the crime. Abbey's lawyer said he was very aware of the stupidity of his actions and that he had let down his family. She said Abbey had so far paid off roughly $12,000 of the money he'd taken. Both he and Harry Michael Corner have pleaded guilty to stealing. Defence also suggested Corner's struggle with mental health was likely linked to his poor decision to become involved. The court heard both defendants continue to live with remorse and regret. They're expected to be sentenced next week. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian farmers hit with water restrictions could be given a reprieve, with efforts to stabilise the supply paying off. However, Taswater is still considering if it will introduce restrictions for more than 100,000 homes as demand outstrips supply.
It's been a tough week for farmers on the South East Irrigation Scheme, with their allocated water usage cut in half. But those efforts and recent rain could see Tasmanian Irrigation loosen the restrictions by the end of the week.
We will make that call based on the amount that we've got in the dams on Thursday, but yes, we're expecting to be able to ease the restrictions substantially at that point. We're at 50% at the moment. We're expecting that we could hopefully get up to about 80%.
While it's good news for farmers, the same can't be said for residents in the Greater Hobart area. Taswater is considering placing its own restrictions on more than 100,000 households ahead of a warm, dry summer.
Right down through the south, through to Kingborough, right down to Electrona, will all be impacted, so everybody on our network. So it's pretty much all of those suburbs around Hobart and the outlying suburbs and a few of the smaller towns.
The utility company is also looking at supplies for 36 other water systems across Tasmania and whether more restrictions will roll out.
We ask people not to hose down their driveways. We start putting time constraints on when you water your gardens. So it's those simple water conservation messages that stage 1 is about.
Updates on restrictions are expected by the end of the week. Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmania News.
2 men charged over the alleged revenge-style shooting of a 27-year-old will wait at least another day to hear their fates. A jury today hearing varying accounts of how Kurt Jenkins was shot, with the lawyers of the accused pair arguing they acted in self-defence. Garth Burley has the details.
28-year-old Jacob Williams and 33-year-old Marcus Williams stand accused of committing an unlawful act intended to cause grievous bodily harm and armed robbery. At today's trial, which has stretched into a second week, the prosecution claimed Jacob Williams sought retribution with 27-year-old Kurt Jenkins, who Williams wrongly believed had stole thousands of dollars from his home and then doused his former partner and son with petrol. He was angry at the end of the day and wanted some vengeance. It's alleged Marcus Williams coerced Mr. Jenkins into meeting at McDonald's, then he and Jacob Williams forced him to drive to a home in Kings Meadows before shooting him in the leg. However, the defence argued the opposite, saying the trio left mutually and it was in fact Kurt Jenkins who pulled the gun and Jacob Williams responded in self-defence. Lawyer Evan Hughes telling the court he takes defensive action is what he does. Both sides today alluded to inconsistencies in the evidence of witnesses, with the judge concluding to the jury, the main question for you is whose version of events are you satisfied is true? The jury is expected to begin deliberations on the case tomorrow.
A man who hugged a stranger before knocking him to the ground with a single punch is expected to learn his fate soon. Neil Armstrong Langing has pleaded guilty to punching and repeatedly kicking his victim outside State Parliament just before 5 a.m. on May 5. Today, his victim told the court he was lucky to not suffer lasting injuries, but now experienced paranoia. The defendant was forced to surrender his Tongan passport. He's expected to appear in court again next week. While Tasmania's economy continues to boom, a new report has revealed the benefits are not being passed on to the most vulnerable in our community. The much-anticipated Tasmania Report showing many are being left behind, shining a light on growing problems in health, employment and housing.
The Chamber of Commerce touring the state today, launching its Tell-All Tasmania Report.
It's a document that, the data is always irrefutable, but the solutions to the issues that are raised are always up for debate.
The annual report exposing two sides to life in the state. A good economy, but little improvement in health, jobs and housing.
The health of Tasmanians is a handbrake on its economy, not just today, but arguably across the longer term.
It's challenging. And one of the key things that we have to do is to continue to invest to ensure that we can provide all Tasmanians with an opportunity.
There's a range of things that the government could be doing, working with industry and identifying the kind of roles that need to be filled in the Tasmanian economy.
The author saying better education is key to improving outcomes, with business to lead the way with training. Meanwhile, business is also preparing to step up in taking over our assets. The government today announcing the real estate agent in charge of the sale of Hobart's Elizabeth Street Pier.
I can assure the government that we will receive the highest and best price, and that will certainly be, in our view, circa 35 million in that range.
There's a slow creep of privatisation that's happening in Tasmania, and it's happening piece by piece. Elizabeth Street Pier, Treasury buildings coming up, the wilderness.
The search for a buyer will begin next week. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Staff were lucky to avoid injury after a van took a bite out of a butcher's wall in Glenorchy this afternoon. CCTV shows the impact of the crash, throwing one of the store's tills against the floor.
There was a young girl on the till and she got pushed around a bit, but she's quite okay.
It's believed the driver accidentally accelerated into the wall. The future of the world's polar regions is on the agenda in Tasmania. International experts, legal practitioners and students are gathering in Hobart for the 12th Polar Law Symposium. They're covering topics like governance, human rights and climate change in the Arctic and the Antarctic regions.
If you put all that together, we've got the largest concentration of Antarctic specialists, probably in the Southern Hemisphere, if not the world. So it's a fabulous opportunity for us to host.
It's the second time the event has been held in Tasmania. There's another summer warning tonight, with Marine and Safety Tasmania launching a campaign highlighting the importance of safety equipment and properly maintained life jackets.
Your life jacket work. For a $40 service, it could save your life.
Recent data suggests that 94% of Tasmanian boaties wear life jackets, but it's concerned some are in poor condition and may not inflate when needed. As Movember comes to an end, a dedicated group of Tasmanians has raised the most money in Australia for the Men's Health Organisation. Starting with a clean shave on November 1st, the Mobar Mobros, alongside their Mo sisters, set out to raise as much money as possible. After organising everything from a Mo-Cella concert to a Mo Open Garden and a Point to Pinnacle team, the tally today sat at almost $160,000, a new record.
That's all down to the community. We come back and do what we do every year, not too dissimilar, but it's the support we get behind us that's really grown.
Now an international initiative, Movember started more than a decade ago, aimed at helping men open up about their health.
The Hobart Hurricanes have lost their final WBBL game of the season by 36 runs. The Perth Scorchers finished at 4 for 167 from their 20 overs. Heather Knight then top scored for the Hurricanes with 36, but a slow run rate saw the side fall well short of their target. The Hurricanes end the season second last on the table with 4 wins from 14 games. Anglers from across the globe have cast their lines on day one of the World Fly Fishing Championships. Locals are set to become the biggest winners following the tournament when new tracks provide greater public access to rivers. Fine but blustery conditions greeted the Australians on their opening battleground, the Meander River. Snaking its way through forest and farmland, trout supplies here are plentiful. So much so, the river doesn't need any extra stock.
We've been able to work out exactly pretty much how many fish are in each section.
Other nations will keep an eye on the Aussies, knowing the lay of the land hands the 3 Tasmanians in the team a natural advantage, but it also makes them the hunted.
Christopher Pisano, Jonathan Stagg and Josh Flowers, and all 3 of those boys have finished in the top 10 in the World Championships in other parts of the world in Europe.
Aussie captain Craig Carey says teamwork is essential for racking up big scores. Teams earn points for the number of fish they catch and for their size.
We've mapped out every lake, in a big laminated form and, gone over and over and over and over the areas that we believe the fish are holding.
The championships will leave a legacy for local anglers who will have access to new tracks to the Meander River cut especially for these championships.
From the next fishing season, they'll be advertised and anglers can go in there and fish, and they've got a good, safe track to get back out on.
The Czech Republic, France and reigning champions Spain are considered the ones to beat in this year's title race.
Good evening, St Helens and Launceston our warmest today on what has felt like a pretty cool start to summer. Hobart and Devonport 17, Burnie 14 degrees. A few showers mainly over the south and west. Burberry 55 millimetres to 9 a.m, while since 9 o'clock Pine Forest Moor recorded 17 millimetres. Friendly Beaches 18 degrees, Flinders Island, Low Head and Ouse 15, King Island and Smithton 14 today. Grove and Strawn 13, Lyre-Weenie scrambled to 7. Low level cloud brought the showers today, less cover over the central, north and inland. A cold unstable air mass lies over southeast Australia. Low cloud over the Bight, nicks the south coast of WA. Thunderstorms evident over the top end. Now tomorrow a cold front crosses the state. A surface trough runs along a large portion of the mainland's coastline and a high moves over South Australia inland. Winds west to southwesterly at 25 to 35 knots, increasing to 40 knots in the afternoon. Swells to 5 metres in western and southern waters. A severe weather warning for damaging winds tomorrow afternoon for many parts. A gale warning for all coastal waters. A strong wind warning for the southwest and central plateau lakes. Also a warning to sheep graziers for many grazing districts. A bushwalkers alert for snow lowering to 500 metres for the central plateau and western districts. Into tomorrow we go. Hobart, a showery day, a bit of wind picking up, 16 the top, 13 for Adventure Bay. Tarraleah, a high of 9. Launceston, a top tomorrow of 18 degrees, a windy partly cloudy day, 16 with maybe a shower over Devonport, possible shower for Bridport and 17 degrees. Burnie can expect a showery day, a bit of wind, 14 the top, 13 for Strawn, showers and wind for Marrawar and 13 degrees. St Helens a top of 19 and partly cloudy, possible shower for Swansea, 15 the top for Whitemark. UV though, very high still at 9 and 10 for tomorrow. On Wednesday, showers over the west, central and south, snow to 600 metres rising during the day. A few showers on Thursday, more frequent over those same areas with fresh westerly winds. Cloudy and fine on Friday for the north and northeast with a shower or two elsewhere. A hot, sunny 39 in Perth tomorrow, cloudy over Adelaide, a possible shower in Melbourne, a fine day forecast for Canberra and Sydney and 33 for Brisbane. Down to 12 degrees now in Hobart and partly cloudy, 14 in Launceston and cloudy over Devonport and 12 degrees. Joe, we're waiting for an announcement on when summer will actually start. Well, no, it's not going to be tomorrow.
Wish you'd hurry that up, Murph. Thank you very much. That's all from the team for now. Thanks for your company. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye-bye.